6.2 billion people are going to experience a cosmic consciousness shift.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what he's talking about. This sounds like the solar flash ascension event. Now listen, before I get into this, you should know I am not saying that it is absolutely going to happen on that day, and I'm not saying that it's absolutely going to happen at all, let alone the way he's describing here. But I have been studying this, tracking this, receiving my own revelations and insights on this since 2017. I know a lot about this, like a lot. But I also know that a lot of what is out there about it is contradictory, which is why, for my own part, I'm saying I don't know. There's nothing definite yet. But I can tell you what I do know, and I can tell you what I do think is likely to happen. And if you want, I can get us together and we can do a live channeling event to find out more. If you don't know me, hi, hello, I'm Gia. I'm a psychic medium, I'm a channeler, and an ascension teacher. And I've already done 2 events about this, and you can download the replay at the link in bio. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the caption. My very first light circle, called Anchor the Light, talks about this, but more specifically, more in depth. My first full woo channeling circle, called The Light is Coming, is about this. Now, the short of it is, in recent decades, many prophecies from channelers like myself and people in quantum hypnosis sessions began talking about this solar flash event, about this burst of energy that would come from the sun. And rather than be catastrophic, it is going to be an awakening moment, a very literal physical moment of awakening, where that energy would pierce the veil, would dissolve the veil between the physical world and the non-physical, and we would be catapulted into the new earth, the 5th dimension. Now that sounds amazing, fantastical, and far-fetched. Yeah, and it might be all those things. But like I said, this is something I've been studying in depth since 2017, because for me, it didn't begin with someone else's information. It began with a vision that I was given. Now, I have been a professional psychic medium and a healer for 10 years, but in 2017, I was woken up in the middle of the night, sat bolt upright in bed, and I saw a vision. And I saw an image of a woman who looked a lot like me, standing out in nature. She was standing alone, and the sun was coming down to her in streaming rays in a 45-degree angle, and it filled her with this golden light. And that light streamed behind her like a bridal veil, spreading to an enormous golden lake. And I heard a voice, and the voice said to me, "You are called to anchor a new light, a light that has never been here before. You must call it forth and embody it, and through you, the planet will shift and rise." This was such a profound experience for me, but also a confusing one, because I had no idea what the hell that meant. So I began researching, learning from others, trying to figure out what that was all about. And like I said, I did learn a lot from many teachers over the years. But I've also had not only my own revelations and conversations with Spirit about it, but I began to do that to anchor the light. I have an entire playlist about this called Energy Waves, talking about my experience as a physical vessel for these ascension energies that come to us. I'm not the only person doing it. There are many of us around the world who've been anchoring these energies, integrating them, and seeding them into the earth so that we can all heal, awaken, and change. Those energies for me culminated to last spring, where initially in 2017, it was occasional, these little bursts, these gentle tingling of energies, until it built up over the years. And last year in May, it culminated to where I was having these energy wave experiences nearly every single day. These energy waves were so powerful that they almost became painful, and I would have to lie down for hours as these waves filled my body and changed my body, vibrating from head to toe. It culminated to the point that it was so intense, I felt my cells bursting from within. And then nothing happened. Nothing happened. They just stopped. And I was confused, let down, and furious. I was furious because I was certain that with the culmination of these waves, I would get to experience the event and be catapulted into the new earth. And that's not what happened. I stayed here and nothing changed. And I was in a funk. for quite a while. I didn't talk to my guides for a while. I was confused and furious. But the waves did stop. So I didn't know. I didn't have any answers until the morning after the election at 4 a.m. when I was woken up in the night with those same energy waves starting up again. Now, like I said, in that playlist, Energy Waves, I've talked a lot about this, and they have ramped up and they have peaked in places. And I know from my comments that a lot of you have been starting to feel them. So I do know this is a real phenomenon that I'm not imagining, I'm not making up. It is a very real physical experience that myself and others have been having. Now, despite my disappointment and confusion, I have still held out hope that if there is to be a grand solar flash experience, I want that. Putting in my order with the universe, yes, please and thank you, I want that. But as you can tell from my story, I don't know if we're going to get that. I just don't. So this is also why I say, perhaps it's time that we tune in and we figure out more. If this is something you want, let me know in the comments and I will put an event on the books. It's been a while since I've done a live channeling session. I will go in trance and we will find out. And in the meantime, you can also check out what I've already channeled on this and let me know what you think. Is this coming in October? I mean, if it's a possibility, I'm all in. I'm all in. Let's do it.